The sad part is not much has changed in the last 34 years since
That's
since
the
this has happened.
frustrating thing.
That is what's really frustrating, because in fact it's gotten worse, if you ask me. I mean, the fight. I mean, the denial by the medical community, and
Okay, well, so I think we're on the right track.
well, and we are so thankful for you guys. Let me make sure I get that in.
No, but you guys, here's the thing, because you are the NVIC, you work there, or you do work for them?
Yes, I'm on the board of Mission for Vaccine Choice.
Right, and which is the founding leader. I mean, when I was doing my magazine in the garden in the shed in England, I looked to you guys for information. So it's this, where we're at now is because of a result of the work that you did back then.
Well, 20 years ago we did go to Lansing, our capital, because our watchdogs have, saw some bills. They hide these things in bills sometimes, and they'll just sneak them in to take away our rights. And so we went, a whole big showing of us, and it worked. It didn't happen back then, and things were kind of quiet for many years after that. But in the last couple of years, we've had to be very active in making sure they don't slip in something into the laws to take away our rights. And so,
well, they're going to try now, but they're going to take us on, and they're taking not just the vax, but they're taking thousands.
That's right. They have got a big fight on their hands. I don't think they expected
it. People are just going to say no. We're done. We've had enough.
I know.
Exhausting. We're done.
We know what you're doing.
Right.
We're not going to take it. My name's Sue. And this is my daughter Katie. She's 34 years old, and she's the reason we're here today.
All right, so let's hear your story.
Well, 34 years ago, Katie's my second-born daughter, and the first one went through the whole series of vaccines, which were not many back then, but no apparent problems with her. So when it was time for Katie, we just followed the protocol, and it was her second visit to the doctor at 4 months that the problem occurred with a DPT shot that she had that day. She was developing normally at that point, and we know that because she had started rolling over, and everything else there was no problems that we were aware of. She was alert and happy and all that sort of thing. So what happened the day of the shot was she received it, and then that afternoon we did not know it was a reaction at the time, an adverse reaction. We found that later because the doctor didn't tell us, but she started it was a really bad cry, scream. Like she was clearly uncomfortable and unconsolable. And then she spiked a fever, and of course we called the doctor, and he said, thank you, Katie, that she was having a normal reaction to the shot, and give her Tylenol, which was what they told you back then, apparently. And that's what we did, and still unconsolable into the evening and the next day, and eventually that passed. And we didn't think much about it. Went in for a 6-month, the next DPT shot, and not knowing we had a reaction, we had that, and that seemed to be fine. However, the development between the 4 months of age and 8 months of age, we were starting to notice had stopped, basically. She wasn't rolling over anymore. She wasn't starting to sit. Normal things were, and she seemed, her body was spastic. Her right eye was starting to droop after 6 months. Her head was starting to lean to the right after 6 months. We didn't know what was going on. And when I pointed out to the doctor at the 8-month visit, he said, well, development's a funny thing, she's going to be fine or whatever. So but at the next visit, he became a little more alarmed about that and started running some tests. And one of them was a genetic test. Everything came back fine. The development still wasn't really coming along. At 1 year of age is when the doctor suggested, let's take her to this team of experts at the hospital and have her examined and see what they say. So we did that, and I went by myself, not thinking anything was going to happen, and they came out with this diagnosis of cerebral palsy, which to me, I wasn't really sure what that meant, but I knew, you know, I thought it was a physical thing more than a mental thing. But I, you know, stopped at the library, because at the time we didn't have internet or anything like that. So we, you know, I did a little research into that, and realized that something, you know, she's not going to be right. You know, she's definitely, there's something wrong with her, but how did it happen? We still weren't sure. So we also got her into an educational program at 1 year of age, because she had a diagnosis now of brain injury, basically, and got her into an early intervention program, and they started working PT and OT and speech as that was starting to come along.
And she's not had any vaccines since?
Well, there weren't any required until 18 months after that. So by 18 months, the light bulb had come on. I had connected some dots. And largely because, not that a doctor, her pediatrician still was not owning that it could have been a reaction to the shot, but there was a TV program, a 2020 program that came out, and it was called, I think it was called DPT, Vaccine Roulette, something like that. Well, that really caught my interest, because they started telling other stories, much like Katie's, where baby seemed fine, development stopped, high-pitched scream was listed in one of about 20 different adverse reactions that were possible. And it was that one that I really connected. And I went back and looked in her baby book that I had written, and just to confirm that, you know, the development had, you know, she had rolled over before the shot. And so, you know, I really was pretty sure that at that time it was the shot. But they also mentioned this book, which kind of became my Bible at the time.
Yeah, and Barbara Loe Fisher is...
Yes. This was one of the only...
a genius lady.
One of the only resources that I was aware of at the time. But they mentioned it on that program, the DPT 2020 show. So I ordered it, picked it up. Yeah, I don't think you could get it in the bookstore, but I ordered it. And my 90% sure that it was a vaccine reaction became well over 100% sure once I started reading other people's stories that were very similar to Katie's, and you know, some of them didn't make it through it, you know, but there were
there's a lot of babies that didn't make
it
past the DTaP or DTP.
No.
Baby right here on the bus that didn't make it through.
This tells of a lot of SIDS incidences, but they were also connecting, the researchers back then were a little more vocal about connecting the dots as well. They were talking about, and the inserts even in the vaccines back then were showing, as they do now, some of these, you know, possible adverse reactions like SIDS.
Now you've been in this game a long time, and you do a lot of good work. So thank you for that. Seriously, thank you. What are you thinking about the future? I can see how close you are. You're really close, you two.
I have a grandson now, and another one on the way. So this is what's driving me even more now. So far, he's 15 months old, this little sweet grandson, not vaccinated. Very scary what's going on. You know, the whole possibility of being forced into it. Now my daughter's in the camp 100%. She's a special ed teacher. My son-in-law, a little bit more mainstream in his thought. However, he's not vaccinated this baby yet because he's afraid to spin that roulette rule, you know, that wheel. So far, he's very healthy, very happy, and doing great. And hopefully the other one will be the same way. But, you know, we're just fighting the fight that we have to now to maintain our right in Michigan to opt out, because...
Do you two live on your own together?
Sorry?
Do you live on your own?
She lives with us, myself, and my husband. Yes, and she's in a day program, very good program, community-oriented. So she's healthy, doing great, can't be left on her own. You want to eat, honey? We'll go eat some, okay? Been very patient.
She loves you. I love...
She's a sweetheart.
Your relationship is lovely. I'm sorry, Katie.
She's just a very loving...
We love you, Katie. Oh, we got to show you how much. Let me show you this. You'll love this. Let's move this a second. See all those hearts there, Katie? They're for you.
Do you see them?
Do you see
Green
those
and
hearts?
purple and orange. All those hearts.
They're for you, Katie.
People are reaching out to you, honey.
Look at it. They love you. They do. They love you.
Katie's doing fine. I mean, you know.
And for
healthy.
you. They're for you as well, by the way.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate your support.
Okay, Katie, we love you. Go inside. You've got to write your name on the bus.
Yes, we
Yeah?
are. We will probably write our name on the bus.
Yeah.
Right,
And
sweetie?
just remember all those hearts.
You like hearts.
And you
don't
can play this back. It's going to be left. So you can play it back and you can watch all the hearts. that
Where's your
people
heart?
sent
You know where your heart is?
No.
Yeah, you got a
He
big heart.
doesn't know where
You've
your
got a
heart is,
big
but you've
heart.
got a beautiful heart.
Mama.
She wants
See Grandma Saturday, okay?